Hey everybody, how's it going? Casey here with the East Philly YouTube channel. Today, we're going to be looking at how to tell if your car has a bent, cracked, or damaged wheel. Mainly looking at the rim on this one, but the ways that we are doing this could also tell you if the tire is damaged as well. So here we have my 2007 Subaru WRX. Recently, I was pulling through a spot and the angle I was coming in at, I didn't see the parking barrier there. And as I was going to go through, I hit the parking barrier at about 5-6 miles an hour. The tire deflated on this side and that side by about 10-15 psi. I filled it up, got home, it was down a little bit, filled it up. That side is fine now. It's a little bit of air leaking out over time. This side is leaking out a little bit more. Kind of deflates at a quicker rate. So I'm going to do a couple tests to see exactly what is wrong. So the test we're going to be checking is the bead where the tire hooks into the rim. The rim itself, we're going to spin the tire to see if it's a little offset. And then I'm going to dunk the whole thing into water. And we're going to look to see if we can tell if any air is escaping. Now you can see when I did damage this, I did have a large chunk here kind of taken out. It's actually pretty deep, but it's not on the actual lip of the wheel. So the first thing we're going to do is rotate the tire, the whole wheel around with the car jacked up. And we're just going to look at the rim to see if there's any damage at the lip where it meets the bead of the tire. Now we can't really do that on the inside just yet. We are going to take the wheel off in a minute to test some other things, but you can see that there is a significant chunk of aluminum missing here, and that is a good indicator that I hit it hard enough that I might have bent the rim or cracked it on the inside. The next test is to sit here, and you can see that we have a straight line down the tread here. So this is pretty easy. Just rotating the tire and seeing if that veers off in any direction. If it looks like it's wobbling or if it looks like it's not rotating correctly. It's a little hard to tell while I'm spinning it because it's not spinning a lot. If it's veering or if it's wobbling or if it's unaligned. Usually you're better off looking down low instead of at the black because you're looking at black on black. Down here I can see the floor beneath it, so I can really see better, especially if I kind of fix my sight on one thing. Like the leaf there, I can tell if the light between the tread and the leaf are getting bigger or smaller as I'm going, if something's wobbling, and I don't see any wobbling. So the next thing we're going to do is take some soapy water. You're going to shake it up and you're going to really douse the bead. And you're going to see it's foaming a little bit from the soap. That's okay. What we're looking for is air bubbles. So you're spraying a lot on there and you're looking inside. You see the suds that are already there. We're looking to see if air is constantly coming out. So after going around the whole wheel, I don't see any air bubbles coming out on this side at least. So what I'm going to do is remove the entire wheel from the car. I'm going to check the bead on the inside of the wheel, and then I'm going to clean it off and I'm going to dunk it into a bin that I have filled with water to see if I see any air bubbles escaping. Now if you were to see air bubbles coming out when spraying like this, it could be two things. You could have damaged the bead where the bead of the tire meets the bead of the wheel or the rim, which is a little harder to fix until you take it to someone. They might be able to knock it back in place. It really depends on the wheel material, or it could be that the tire just debeaded and you spray some of this soap in there, get a real kind of slippery, and you put more air in than you usually would. Don't go past the recommended max pressure. So for my tire it's 50 psi. I will go to 50 or a little over psi for a couple seconds to really try to let the tire grip into the wheel, and then from there I would take it back down to normal pressure. You could do that a couple times to try to get it to seat a little bit better, but it doesn't look like that's our problem. I have the wheel off now, and we're going to do the same thing. It's actually a little bit easier to do off the car because the water kind of pulls up in the rim area. You could get a lot more in there and you'll notice it a lot quicker. You'll see these are normal bubbles. They're not actively bubbling. So you will see bubbles like this when you're doing it. What you're looking for is active bubbling. Like if you put a straw into a drink and you blow into it, the bubbles are popping up constantly. That's what we're looking for. We're not looking for bubbles that are already there. That's bubbles that are already there. This is what we're looking for there. So we can see in that spot, we have some active bubbling. So there is air coming through the wheel at that spot. You can see even after I moved it, still new air bubbles popping up. So this could be a couple things. It could be that the bead is dented on the inside. And if we flip this over, it's close to where that bigger problem was, but it's not directly at the same spot. So I'm gonna fill it up with air, and I'm wearing ear and eye protection for this, because we are filling it up pretty high. They're not gonna go too far past the maximum inflation. We're probably gonna go back to 55-ish. Nothing too high, because we don't want to cause catastrophic failure or any other problems. So at this point, we've put it to 55 psi, taken it down to 10 psi, kind of massaged it a bit by bouncing it, and then I just put it back to 55 psi just to get some more air in there for our next test. We can already see that it's still bubbling and actively moving. So this is really what the problem area is. I wouldn't say it's too bad. It's a relatively slow leak, but it is a leak. And if we can get it fixed for an inexpensive amount, that's not bad. But if we wind up having a leak because of the drum being cracked, that's going to be a bigger problem. So this didn't fit how I expected it to fit, but it's working well enough. You see, like here, there's no constant bubbling. I'm going to rotate this around. I expect to see constant bubbling here coming from this. I can actually see it just from water being in there. I don't know if I'm going to really be able to rotate it too well holding the camera. And then I'll probably wind up letting it do a little bit of overlap. You see like there's bubbles, but that's just from me dunking it. But there's no constant bubbling coming up. There's no stream of bubbles like some type of air is trying to escape. We're keeping this. I'm going to try to keep a bit of overlap so I can make sure. Not here. And we're getting pretty close to that spot. This will show the other spot again. I don't know if that's going to be too small. Nope, you can see here a little bit. The bubbles coming up. But it's only coming from that spot. And it's very slow like we saw with the other ones. Keep rotating. So it looks like the only real spot we have a problem with is right here, which isn't too bad. I can deal with that for having to fill it up every couple days, but I am going to take it over to the tire shop tomorrow to see if they can tell me if it's a tire problem or a rim problem. If it's a rim problem, I'll get a quote or two, and if it's fixable for a little bit of money, then I'll fix it. If it's fixable, it's fixable. If not, I'll have to get a new wheel set. I do have my summer wheel set that I don't really feel like changing the tires over on. So I really like to just get one wheel if I can. I found a source for that. I also found someone selling a whole wheel set for a pretty good price. So I might just do that. Hey guys, just an update on the wheel video for testing how to get leaks. It's been about a week since I made that video. The day after I made the video, I went to the tire shop where I bought my tires from. They looked at it and they said, yes, you do have a leak there. And then they tested around the tire and they found there was actually a nail in the tire as well. And since I have a tire protection plan, they replaced the entire tire. They put some extra bead sealant around that area where there was some air leaking through the bead. And now the tire is holding air fine. Everything's fixed. So just an add-on to this video, I want to suggest that everyone, whenever you buy tires, go to a good shop. They might be a little bit more expensive, but if you can get a tire protection plan, it's always worth it. Or if you do something like Tire Rack or one of those online places, some of them have tire protection plans. They're a little harder to use, since if you get a nail in your tire or something, or it blows out, you need to find a place that has those tires that can put it on for you, and then you have to send in your bill to Tire Rack. And I don't know exactly how that works, but my place put on a brand new tire, extra bead seal, and it's holding fine. It cost me, I think, $20 in the end, because I bought a new tire protection plan for that tire, which was like 15 bucks. And then after tax, after the removal, I think they charge for like the tire disposal fee or something. It came out to around $25. So it's worth it. I got a brand new $100-some tire for 20 bucks. That's the second time I've had to use that tire protection plan from them. It worked out great. So I saved $200-some probably since I bought these tires from that shop. So support your local shops, see if they have tire protection plans and use those. It's holding fine now. I finished plastic dipping all the wheels. I think the black looks pretty good on the silver, just like the gold did with the other wheels. There you go. And I actually wound up repairing some of the chunks in that wheel, this wheel right here. I used some JB Weld to fill in the spots, and then I sanded that down after it cured. I didn't do a great job, but I did enough that it looks pretty good. I'll probably remove the dip from that wheel at some point and kind of do it better. Same with the other wheel, because that has some chunks I want to do too, and I'll make them look really nice, and hopefully everything comes out great. So that's just an add-on to this. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.